I'll hit record and we'll get kicked off. All right, I'm just going to mute you guys. Okay, team. So at any point, there is a chat functionality, so feel free to pop in your thoughts. We do have a few interaction throughout this evening, but yeah, any questions or anything, feel free to pop them in the box. So quitting the diets and getting real results. So quite excited about tonight. I have to say, I love kind of sharing my knowledge with you guys, and I spent the past kind of 5 years upskilling myself on all aspects of fitness and nutrition, and the kind of opportunity came up to kind of do this, born out of speaking with clients who were kind of like, oh, Christmas is coming up. And it was like that kind of downfall around the food and kind of stressing about not wanting to eat certain things and wanting to feel rubbish at the end of the festive period. So I thought, you know what, we're going to jump on a call and I'm going to share a whole lot of information with you guys. So I'm just going to go to the next slide. So tech-wise, as I've mentioned, you can feel free to have your cameras off. I'll put you guys on mute, but we will have the chat box for any questions. And also at any point, you know, if there's something that I've not covered off, feel free to jump into. In terms of the outline of what we're going to cover, we're going to do some myth busting around weight loss, what body confidence means for you as an individual, food sources, female health, and as I said, if you're a male on here, female health still matters to you too, and 3 quick wins for you to take away and start implementing, and how to go about getting sustainable results, and sharing a bit with you about my body confidence program. Okay guys, so those objectives that I want you to take away from the end of tonight is around dispelling any myths you might have about food and weight loss. So what are the things that you've built up over the years around food that you might not necessarily know whether it's true or not, and it might be impacting the choices you're making on a daily basis. So I want you to go away feeling empowered that you've got informed choices to eat the food you enjoy, so you don't feel like you've got to miss out anymore or maybe eat different things from your friends or your family. And I want you to go away with a deeper understanding of what body confidence means for you. So this is a very individual thing, and I'm going to share with you a bit of my story around that, and just for you to delve in and explore what that means for you. And I would say it's a moment in time, so this can change throughout your life, but it's certainly where you are right now. And getting comfortable talking about your monthly report card. So this is a female health section where quite a lot in the UK, we're still very much whispering about female health and we're on our periods and stuff like that. And it's just to give you an insight into how hormones actually do affect us on a monthly basis. And if you're going into menopause as well, I'll talk a little bit around that too. And then quick wins to take away. So why wait till the new year to start? So there's things you can take away that are quick wins to get you kicking off and making sure, as I say, you go into Christmas, you can enjoy all the different foods, all the different drinks, and not feel like you have to hit January with fad diets. So you can have that guilt-free festive season. All right, team, let's get into it. Okay, facts and myths around food. So I've jotted down a few here and I'm going to go over them. But if you guys want to pop into the chat box any kind of myths and facts you've heard around weight loss and foods, and in the meantime, I'll go through the ones I've got here. So first up is that fruit is bad for you. Now, I think this one's born out of smoothies and fruit juices. So a lot of people I speak to, when I work with them, I'm like, eat fruit, get a variety of colour. And they're like, what? Why would I eat fruit? And I'm like, it's good for you. What do you mean, why would you eat fruit? They're like, but is it not bad for you? It's full of sugar. And I'm like, no, it's got natural sugar in it. And I think from exploring with them why they think fruit is bad, it actually comes down to, as I said, the fruit juices and the smoothies. So if you think about half a cup of orange juice, you'd have to squeeze around 2 to 3 oranges in order to get that amount of fruit juice out. Now, what that means is it's going to be high in those natural sugars, because let's face it, team, you wouldn't sit there and eat 3 oranges. You'd be really full and you'd probably struggle to sit and eat 2 or 3 oranges. Whereas by squashing it and condensing it into a juice, we can consume more of it, which means then we're having more sugar. So fruit is good for you. Smoothies as well, and fruit juices aren't that bad, but with your fruit juices, you're looking to keep to like 150 mils. That's your kind of limit. You don't want to go more than that. So what I would say with your fruit juices, go for it, but keep it within that limit. And fruit, again, go for your whole fruit. And often people punish themselves with apples. They're like, oh, I don't even like apples. I'm like, why are you eating them if you don't like them? So explore what fruit you like and what you enjoy and have those. Now, avocados, that's another one about avocados being full of fat. Yes, they do have fat in them, but they are good fats, so they're not a bad thing to have. And what I would say is I've never worked with anyone who's had a challenge around eating too many avocados. So I would say with avocados, again, think about portion size, but again, they're a good thing for you. Now, you can enjoy food and lose weight. So you can eat pizza all day long if you want it. As long as you didn't go over the number of calories that you use and burn on a daily basis, you could happily eat pizza all day long and still lose weight. Because as long as you're in a deficit of the amount of calories you need on a daily basis, you will lose weight. And that could be through any food. However, if you did live on pizza, I don't imagine you feel too great for it. But that's when the myth is around you can't enjoy food and lose weight. As long as you're not eating over your calorie limit, and if you're looking to lose weight and be in a deficit, if you're looking under that, then you will lose weight regardless of what food you're eating. It's all about volume. All calories are equal. So calories in a slice of pizza is the same amount of calories in some broccoli. It's just the volume that they eat and how densely packed they are with calories. Okay, team, next up, certain foods are a sin. So this tends to come from the dieting world. So I think it's like Slimming World, Weight Watchers, where they tend to brand foods as a bad thing. So avocados are one of those things. And the way that they do this is by giving a guide on what they should and shouldn't eat. And they do this in order to achieve their weight loss goals for people. And it's like anything I've just mentioned. If you decrease the amount of calories you're consuming, you're going to lose weight. But unfortunately, with these kind of diet clubs, they're not sustainable. And what will happen is a lot of people will come away from these diets and they'll quickly gain weight again because they start eating normally and they're not doing a calorie deficit. They can also come away with that confused perspective about what food is and what's good and what's bad. So there's no such thing as sins. There's no such thing as good food, bad food. It's about food in general, viewing it all as the same thing and just having what you enjoy rather than omitting and denying things. And I also find that if you deny yourself the food, you tend to crave it more, want it, and build up this big reward picture around having it. So actually, have whatever you like, just think about how much of it you're eating. Now, here's a hot topic. Vegan meals are good for you. So vegan meals are ones where it depends. If you're making a vegan meal at home and you're not using processed ready meals, then the chances are that is going to be good for you. But you will see in all the supermarkets how people have jumped on to the vegan meals, the ready meals. All major supermarkets have them now. And these tend to be packed with sugar, with salt, which means they're not so healthy. So again, there's restaurants out there doing vegan foods. I know there's one downstairs from me. And when that was open, the street would smell of oil. It was like, smelled like a chippy, basically, deep fat oil. So with the vegan food, it's what's in it and how is it cooked. Now, those things will depend on whether it's good for you or not. And a client shared with me, and one who's a vegan, that she was looking at the Marks and Spencer's Christmas meals, and there's a vegan reef in there, and she was looking at the ingredients. She's one of my graduates who's doing very well, and she was looking at the ingredients, and she said the first ingredient was vegetable oil, the second ingredient was water, and the third ingredient was mushrooms, which was 10%. So you've got to look at that food and say, oh my goodness, what is actually in that? So you've got oil, water, 10% mushroom, and that was being sold as a vegan reef for Christmas. So I'd say with vegan food, all about reading the packets. Now, carbs make you fat. Again, it's about how much you're having. So carbs per se don't need to make you fat. We actually need carbs because they're our main fuel source for our body. So we do need them. But what I tend to find with people is some people use carbs as a filler. So if we take bread as an example, especially in the UK, probably Italy as well, bread is one where we will tend to eat that before having our actual main component of our meal. And you know, it's like if you've ever been on holiday in Europe as well, you'll normally get a bit of a starter of a bread basket, and you'll be eating like probably half a baguette before you start your main meal, and then you might feel a bit full, a bit bagged up because you've had all this bread that you would normally have. So it's not about, again, carbs per se making you fat, it's just about the volume you eat. So pasta, bread, naan bread, flat breads, wraps, are all carbs. Now I'm saying they're all carbs because some people will say I don't eat bread, and then I see them eating things like wraps and naan bread, but they don't actually classify those as carbs. And other insight for you is biscuits. Biscuits are actually carbs as well because they're made from wheat flour, and typically they've got sugar and other things added. So often we don't think of biscuits as being carbs, but they are as well. So it's not that they're bad for you, it's not that they make you fat, it's just again the volume of them you're having. And the last one I've got on there is low fat food is healthier. Now, this is something that's come out the past kind of year, I would say, where low fat food was deemed healthier. But actually, what they did instead of taking out what they did is take out the fat and then pumped it full of sugar. So you're negating the benefits of it. So if you're looking for something that's low in fat, again, check the label. You want to look at low fat, low sugar, both those components. So the summary here, guys, is really to look at your labeling. So if you're buying anything that's in a tub, in a packaging, look at the labeling and check what's actually in it. Now, I know Laura's popped there that you shouldn't eat after 8 p.m. So again, that's something that's totally depends on what works for you and your body. Some people find that if they eat late, it disturbs their sleep, and it can do for some people because there's when you eat, there's thermal activity within your body that raises your body temperature. And that raising of your body temperature in itself burns calories. So for some people, that might mean that they have a bit of a disturbed sleep because they can't get comfy, they're maybe a bit too hot. But again, it completely depends on you. I have seen some influencer life coaches come out and say that, what was it, something about 3 hours before bed you shouldn't eat, 2 hours before you shouldn't drink any fluids, 1 hour before no screen time. But again, guys, it's totally what works for you. If you've gone out and you've been working late or you've been on calls late, then by all means have a proper dinner, because we often forget what we're eating right now doesn't just fuel us into the evening, it's then going to fuel us into the next day and the day after. And that's what we forget about. We don't just digest food like that. It's obviously broken down through our digestive system. That takes time. It then goes into our muscles and into our body. So whatever we eat now or what we don't eat is going to impact our energy levels into the next day. Okay, guys, so that's myths and facts. There's not any more popped up in the chat box. So if everyone's comfortable, I'll pop on to the next slide. Body confidence. Okay, team, we're going to get deep here. So body confidence is very individual to you. Now, when I work with clients, that can come in different guises. So that could be about weight loss. It can be about energy levels. It can be about feeling good in the clothes that you're wearing. Or it can be about strength, feeling toned. So it's whatever's good for you. So I want you just to take a minute to think about what body confidence means to you as an individual. Okay, guys. Now I want you to pop in some words that you associate with body confidence into the chat box. So what's contentment there? Strong. Power. I'm loving these guys. Happiness. Healthy. Brilliant. So if you look at those, contentment, power, happiness, healthy, energy. Absolutely love those. So I want to share with you my story of what body confidence is for me. And I'm so chuffed that you guys have come up with those ones. Because as I say, often it can be about weight loss. Or when people come to work with me, they'll talk about weight loss initially. And then we'll break it down. And as they go through the journey, they discover actually it's not about weight loss. It's about energy. It's about something else. So for me, my body confidence came from being in a really struggling place where I had an injury. I'd never been to a gym in my life. So this was 5 years ago. I was overweight. I was size 16, 18. Like I said, never had entered a gym before, broke my leg and ankle. And it meant that I was on crutches for 6 weeks, non-weight bearing, having 60 stairs to hop up to get to my front door. And I vowed then never to let myself be in that position again, where physically I wasn't strong enough or fit enough to be able to get from room to room without sitting down. Yes, accidents happen, things happen, you can't control it, but it was my ability to deal with that situation physically that really just drove me to go, I need to change my lifestyle here. And that's what kicked me off in the fitness and health industry and where I am today. So for me, body confidence was some of those words you guys have used. It was about being strong in terms of being able to hold my body weight if I ever ended up on crutches again, being able to do the things I wanted to do. So if I wanted to run, I could run. If I wanted to jump, I could jump. And for me, it was about not having any restrictions in my movement, because I discovered that when something goes wrong with your body, it's fundamental. It really impacts the quality of your life. And through that process, yes, weight loss was a factor that came out of it, an outcome from the choices I was making on a daily basis. But mine has always been around how much I can move freely and push my body to jump. Because I was told by a physio I'd always have to hop up and down stairs, and I was like, nah, I'm not willing to settle for that. And for you guys that know me, you'll know that I love crazy jumps, movements, and I love pushing it, mostly body weight stuff. And it's just about challenging myself and knowing that my body can move in a way that feels good for me. And with that comes confidence. So when I walk into a gym now, 5 years on, I don't care what other people are doing in the gym. I don't care if they're looking at me, watching me, whatever it is. That's up to them. I go in to work out. Ideally, I'd like to do it in a group fitness place, but we're not there at the moment. But just to challenge and have a really good time with each other in terms of training together, but also as an individual, to know that I can go and release all those feel good hormones. And yeah, I can come away confident that I've got my body in the fittest place it's been in the past 5 years, and I can keep driving and striving to what that is. So yeah, I'm loving the fact you guys have got around energy, confidence. So energy is such a big one too. And I don't think we kind of acknowledge how much energy affects our overall mood, our ability to live our lives in terms of the goals and actions we've got, and the things we want to do. Also our mood in terms of how we deal with situations and how we come across the people around us. So energy is a massive one, and with that comes confidence. And with all those things, ultimately, if you're feeling strong, you're feeling healthy because you're making the right choices for you and you're fueling the body in the right way, then you're going to get the happiness. You're going to be strong, you're going to be confident, you're going to be content, and all that's going to come with it. So guys, yeah, just think about what body confidence means for you and where you are right now. Are you in a good place where you're feeling confident in your body, or is there a bit of work to do around that? And I like to give out a little action or two. So for the next week, I want you guys to dress up a little bit. So you see I've got my jewels on today. So this is something where during lockdown we've become so used to wearing the same clothes. We probably put our comfy clothes on. We're not really going out much, so we're not dressing up as much. We're not doing our hair, we're not putting our makeup on as much, or we're not dressing up and taking it to the next higher level. For the next week, guys, let's get out our comfies. Dress up as if you're going out for a meal somewhere. And regardless if you're working at home, whatever it is you're doing, just get your jewels on, change up a bit, and just feel the difference in your confidence. So that's one easy action for you to take away in the next week. All right, team, we're happy to move on from body confidence. Okay, food sources. So this is about building on myths. We've become so complicated in terms of all the barrage of information we get around food sources. And I think we've got to a point where people struggle to understand what's right for them and what they should be eating. And guys, that's not your fault. The marketing's everywhere, and they're always selling us things that are going to make things more easy for our life, more convenient, but they're not necessarily going to make you feel great or have the body confidence we just spoke about. So I just want to cover off here a bit around food sources and portion control. And guys, if you've got any questions, please pop them in the chat box. Okay, so if we go to this plate, so this is a visual I use with my clients, because let's face it, life is too short to be weighing and measuring and counting calories. Calorie counting is a good thing for education to begin with, if people are totally skewed with what portion control looks like. But in all honesty, I tend not to use calorie counting and weighing foods with my clients. I like to go on this visual because I think this is a long-term sustainable way to learn about portion and what you're eating. So if we focus on the food sources around it, we've got protein, our veg, our healthy fats, our carbs. There's nothing here that is alien to you guys. This is all basic stuff. And I don't like to label food and talk about clean eating and things like that. But if you think about, these are ultimately sources of food that aren't derived from process. So if you think about the things that you can have, so let's take mac and cheese, for example, a Scottish favourite. Within that mac and cheese, there's so many different processes that go into creating that ready meal. So if you think about anything that's processed, you need to think about what are the processes that go in that, what are the things that they need to do in order to create that product that changes it from its original source. So I spoke there about that vegan Christmas wreath at Marx's. So if you think about that one, what are the processes? What are the things that are thrown in there? Marx's has also got this Christmas. I love going to Marx's and seeing what different things they come up with every year for party food and stuff. Just intrigues me. Bit of a geek that way. But they've got donuts, chicken donuts this year at Marx's. Now I'll let you just digest that one mentally, chicken donuts. And I believe from the press that they've been selling like hotcakes. So yeah, I've never seen a chicken shaped as a donut. So you can imagine the processes that they have to go through to take the chicken, to put in that ring donut shape, and the processes in order to cook it in the oven and turn out to however it's meant to be. And they've also got mini sausages, chip shop style, so they're battered. So mini sausages battered. Again, guys, if you think of the processes that go into that to create that food product and the marketing testing they've done to make sure it hits your palate, so you want more and more of it. Okay, so that is the stuff where we get complicated, we get calories, we get the fats, we get the sugars, the things that are going to weigh us down and not feel great over the festive period. But if we take this plate and go back to our traditional Christmas meal, turkey is one of the leanest meats you can have. Okay, it's a really good source of protein. So if we look at having our turkey on our plate there under proteins, and then under veg, you'll have your Brussels. Not everyone likes them. Personally, I love a Brussels. And you'll also have your carrots. You might have parsnips, all good stuff. In terms of fats, you might be butter-basted turkey. Butter, again, isn't bad for you. It's just about the portion size you have. And then you've got your carbs, which in for Christmas will be potatoes, no doubt, roast potatoes, let's face it. So there's nothing wrong with that Christmas meal. And one meal is not going to derail you and make you put a load of weight on. Now, the challenges that come around your Christmas meal is all the add-ons. So the sauces, if you have like turkey gravy, cranberry sauce, bread sauce, if you have like 2 types of roast potatoes, then the roast potatoes might not be in olive oil. They might be roast potatoes. Merkel's probably like, what, cooking olive oil? But roast potatoes, like traditionally nowadays, are cooked in goose fat, which obviously are higher fat than your unsaturated. So it's thinking about what are your cooking methods? Are you having a home cooked meal for Christmas, or are you buying in the convenience stuff? Now, if you're opting for convenience stuff, not an issue. It's one day, so you're not, like I say, going to pile on a whole load of weight. So don't feel guilty about it. Enjoy the meal. But if you're looking for something that you don't want to have a bit of a food hangover the next day, think about a home cooked meal. You can't go wrong with your lean turkey. If you're looking for vegan options, check the ingredients, guys, because the chances are if you're going for a vegan meal, you're going to be maybe doing something that's processed. So just check the ingredients and see what you're getting in your meal. If not, revert to your vegan cookbooks and see what you can get there. Okay, just have a look at some of your questions. Yeah, so corn again is one to watch. Really look at the ingredients. Anything that's processed, check what's in it. Like I say, you want to look for your sugar and your salt. And you also say if there's words in there you can't understand, like loads of chemical words, even like Google it. One of the benefits now of online is often you can go and search the products. So if you go to corn website, you'll be able to go in there and you should be able to find the ingredients online before you go and buy it in the supermarket. So you're not having to stand there for ages reading packagings. Have a little look online and see what's in there. Yeah, again, Marco, vegan foods are massively processed, and it's kind of, I suppose it's taken away from what they're meant to be about. They're meant to be about healthy, nutritious, seasonal, but very few of them are seasonal. So I always, when someone says to me they're vegan, I just delve in a little bit deeper to say, what is it you're vegan? And it's not to do away with, what it is they stand for. It's just to find out what their motivation is around it, to check out it's actually in line with what they're trying to achieve. So yeah, vegan foods, absolutely. Like any food, to be honest with you, if you don't cook it yourself, the chances are you're not going to know what's in it. That's ultimately where we are. And I know everyone's under time pressure or you just can't be bothered cooking. But the truth is, guys, to get these healthy food sources and for you to know truly what's in your meals, it is cooking it yourself. And once you get in the rhythm of it, it's not that hard. Okay, now I've got a little message here on the side saying life is too short to wait. And this is about the fact that you might be thinking, oh, I'll just wait till after Christmas. I'll wait in the new year. I'll wait for next month. And we get in the habit of saying next time, next time, next time. So if we look at this plate here, you might be thinking, oh, I'll start next week. If I'm doing the food shop on Saturday, I'll think about doing it next week. But actually, guys, this is looking at a plate of food that you can take this action to work on this now and create this. So for every meal you're having on your plate, you're looking to have a mix of these. Now, by all means, it's not going to be easy to do this to begin with if you're not used to it. So don't try and do this 7 days a week to begin with. Choose 1 or 2 days. And again, try 1 meal a day to get this whole portion of protein, veg, healthy fats, and carbs. So, Amisha, I have a guide for people who don't eat meat in terms of different sources of protein. So what I can do, I can pop that through to you. Laura, I think I shared that one with you. If not, I'll pop it through to you as well. So I've got a whole kind of guide for people who don't eat meat in terms of the different foods. So there are some that are on that diagram around plant-based, around tempeh, beans, rice, legumes, pulses, but I do have more details as well, guys, in terms of how you can get protein. Because one of the benefits of protein is it fills us for longer. So the way this plate is constructed is your veg, you're getting all your different nutrients in there. And guys, don't think you have to live off salad. So confession time, I don't eat salad. I don't like salad. So I'm not going to force myself to eat something I don't like or really do not enjoy it. But I get my veg in different ways. And that allows me to get across the board different micro macronutrients. And especially at the moment, you'll hear about things like vitamin D. With COVID, it's meant to have a benefit. Again, the research isn't fully there. But if that's something you're worried about, again, you can get all your micronutrients from your veg and they're going to fill you for longer, as well as your protein. So those two combinations are going to keep you fuller for longer and stop you snacking. And what I would say as well, team, a lot of people I work with don't eat enough. I think we're in a world where people have smaller portions or they stick to 3 square meals. So think about the volumes of what you're eating. And for this plate is the perfect design for that too, because a lot of people actually don't eat enough food because they're worried about putting weight on and they find their energy levels flagging. So it's about looking at the construction of the food you're having for energy and the volume as well. Okay, let's pop on to the next page. Women's health. Like I say, if you are a male on this call, this does pay dividends to listen to. All right, so this is, as I say, something that we've not, I just find people still aren't that open about talking about women's health. And we totally underestimate how our hormones affect us on a monthly basis. So this diagram here is based on your average 28-day cycle. Now it's average because some cycles are shorter than that, some are longer than that. But we work on a 28 days because that's typically how female contraception works. It's just convenient for them in the pill pack to have 28 days. And this diagram is all about how you feel during your monthly cycle. So we start off with obviously menstruation, which is a bit like winter. So we're slowing down, we're maybe lacking a bit of energy, we're feeling a bit introverted, so we don't want to be out there, we don't really want to be mixing with people, we're not feeling very sociable, and you might just want to snuggle up on the sofa and watch a film and not really do very much. And it's okay to feel that way, it's completely natural, that's to do your hormone balance. And I think sometimes we can look for, what's wrong with me? I've got no energy and all the rest of it. But actually, it's our hormones doing what they should do. So yeah, it's about accepting what you can do and listening to your body. We then go into spring and also into the summer, which is like your ovulation stage. And with spring, you become more focused and you might feel a bit more creative. You might find it easier to come up with solutions to work challenges. If you're doing internet content, social media content, you might find it a bit easier to come up with ideas and solutions for things. Or even with Christmas coming up, you might find it a bit easier coming up with some people's Christmas gifts. And then in summer, we become more productive. You might be a bit more sociable, looking to try something new, a bit of fun and joy. This is also our most fertile time. So this is where we tend to get sexy eyes looking at other males. So this is where the gents are interested, or people of the same sex. So this is where we start to look at the other opposite sex or the whatever our preference is look at those people because we're more fertile during this time, and that's what makes you a bit more outgoing, a bit more productive, and looking for a bit of fun and joy and trying new experiences. And then we head into autumn, where we become all about organization, getting on top of things, setting boundaries, and we might become a bit more assertive. So that's where some people might deem you as being a bit moody. You might be a bit like, oh, she's a bit short today. And this is why I think this is a great one, even if you are a male, just to understand the females in your life, whether that be family or colleagues, because this really does affect us. And I think as females, we can sometimes be a bit inward and kind of not share or not understand the way we're feeling and look at other factors, whether it be work stress, the COVID situation, the weather, but actually we don't pay attention to our hormones. And so many females that I work with don't actually know where they are in their cycle. And this could be due to the contraception they're on, or it could be just they've just actually got no idea. And with my clients, I also work through, I've got a guide on how to cycle your training, and also how to cycle your nutrition in line with your monthly cycle. And the reason doing that, so like day 27, 28, I know I've got no strength. Like my strength goes, and being a female in the fitness industry, I'll have males going, what's wrong with you? Chuck more weights on. What's up with you? And I'll be like, my strength is just gone. And you're kind of told to get on with it. And I used to try and push through it. And I'd be even like push up on the knees would be a struggle. And I'd have male colleagues going, oh, put more weight on. I'm like, no, I know what's right for my body. So now I know not to try and push through it because I'm in line with this and I understand where I'm at and what I'm doing. And I don't push my body to do things just because we're told get on with it, it's mother's nature. Actually, we need to listen to our body, our emotions around that time, and really think about what we're doing. And if you're in a place with work where you can actually cycle your work to this, so for example, if you've got a lot of meetings on, the winter time really isn't a time that you really want to be doing a lot of meetings. You probably want to minimize the amount of meetings that you have because you're probably feeling a bit introverted and don't really have the energy to speak to people or really desire to. So look at how you can cycle your work around this, your training and your nutrition as well. And like I say, I go through this with my clients because there's so much to it. Now, it says at the bottom of your monthly report card. So that's ultimately what your period is your monthly report card is an insight into your health. So your monthly period is something quite natural that should happen just like breathing. That if you're having, say, menstrual pain for a week at a time, that's not right. There's things that can be done around that in terms of your nutrition, in terms of looking at additional supplements, in terms of vitamins and minerals that you may need, to try and experiment with those to see what works for you. Because so many women suffer month on month when they don't have to. Something I look at my clients is looking at nutrition around that period and what's happening with migraines, headaches, and that's also a big one. So for anyone who's going through the menopause, so if you're perimenopausal, nutrition is also a big factor in that too. Things like nutrition, sleep. So perimenopausal, you can have migraines, which again could be nutrient deficiencies or trying to do too much when your body's going through a cycle of wanting to slow down and your hormones are all over the shop. So basically, ladies, this is a whole host of information on this stuff. So I'm really giving you a high level summary of it all. Okay, so what I want to say, if you want more detail on this, then drop me a note and let's pick up and have a conversation on it because it is a fascinating area. And like I say, it is natural. It happens every month, but it is an absolute window to our health. And, full disclosure, I used to suffer from period pain really bad for like a week every month, if not a week and a half. And it's now down to like 24 hours. And that's through nutritional changes that I've made, and just a whole awareness of where I am and not trying to push my body through it. All right, team, female health. So if you've got any questions about that, pop them in the box, but appreciate you might want to DM me on some of those, but not an issue. Next up, what you've all been waiting on, the 3 quick tips to implement now. So meal planning, don't roll your eyes. I know you're all rolling your eyes at me going, oh, boring. But meal planning is something that people either go for or they resist, I would say. And normally what I do working with a client is find out why they're resisting it. What is the resistance against meal planning? Again, if you've not done it before, don't try and go full hog, do 7 days, try 1 or 2 days. And when I talk about meal planning, I'm talking about planning your breakfast, your lunch, and your dinner. Typically, lunch is where people struggle. In the UK, we have a sandwich and soup attitude to lunch. And what happens is it doesn't fill people up, it doesn't sustain them. So think back to the plate you've just seen with the protein and the veg. Yeah, of what are you having for lunch? Does it look like that plate? Is it going to sustain you and your energy through the afternoon? And often people will shortcut their lunch because then they feel like, oh, I've got the time, I'm in meetings, I'm busy. So meal planning is the thing that avoids poor performance, as I put there. So I've had a super busy day yesterday and today. So I knew I wasn't going to have time to cook meals today. So I cooked a batch of bolognese last night. Quick, go to, full of veg, all the different things. So I was able to quickly heat that up and have a decent dinner, have a decent lunch yesterday. So it's all those things that we can do to put in place to ensure we're fueling our body to do all the things we want to do. So I know it's not sexy, I know it's not interesting, but it's what it is. All right, eat what you enjoy. So back to our myth busting, back to our food sources. Don't ban foods or classify them as bad. What happens when we do that is we desire it even more. If you grew up as a child with that reward of sweets, of treats, then that's born into your values as an adult. So it might be that you've done something well at work, you might have finished a promotion, it might be you've had a bit of a bad day, so you think you deserve to treat yourself, and you'll go for something that's sweet, something that's high in calories as that reward, that well done. Now, the worst thing you can do is stop eating those things. One, you do need sugar. So that myth around sugar being bad, you do need sugar. Carbs turn into sugar, okay? But nothing like banning sugar is going to send you haywire, okay? And the reason being is you crave those things even more, okay? It's a natural source, sugar. So I would say if you fancy that chocolate bar, have it. If you fancy the cake, have it. Because the more and more you crave it, the more likely when you do have it, you will overeat and overindulge in it. And if we think about Christmas and people talking about overindulging, it's like, why? Why do we overindulge at Christmas? Is it because we feel like actually we've had a hard year? A lot of people are saying that right now. It's been a hard year, so I'm just going to have this. It's a hard year, so we're going to have this. We're going to go all out at Christmas meal because we've had a hard year. But the truth is, if you've been kind to yourself all year round and every week on week, then you won't have anything that you need to overindulge in because it's all good for you. It's all good foods. So yeah, if you work with me, I will tell you to eat the cake. I will tell you to have the biscuits and the chocolate. But that goes on to my next one. You're like, oh yeah, what's the catch? High quality snacks. So I touched on this earlier that a lot of people tend to not want to eat snacks because they feel like it's more calories and they feel like they'll put on weight if they eat snacks. But the thing is, if you're hungry, don't deny your body. Tune into what your body needs. And when I talk about high quality snacks, I talk about fruit. So I had one client, for example, who's like me, had a savoury tooth. And I told him to eat a bit of fruit before he ate the crisps. And he's like, what? Very skeptical. And then he's like, okay, I get it. Because by eating the fruit, one, you're getting the nutrients from it. You're also getting the hydration from it too. But with that, you're kind of staving off any kind of craving for the crisps. So actually you've eaten something. Was it because you were dehydrated? Was it because actually you were stressed? So that crunching on the pear has taken away the need for you to crunch down and eat half a packet of crisps. So with high quality snacks, it's thinking about getting the source of it. So go for your fruit. One, it's a great way to get more fruit and nutrients into you. Or you can go for things like celery sticks with peanut butter. Yeah, one of my favorites. But it's one of those things about whatever you fancy as a snack, just go for those sources. Think back to the food sources, think back to the high quality stuff. And I know Laura's into her chocolate. So with your chocolate, swap it out for dark chocolate. Now, there's still a bit of debate, science around whether dark chocolate is better for you. But what I've seen with my clients who have spent hours and hours of coaching is that when they have dark chocolate, they will eat less of it than if they have the milk chocolate or the white chocolate. Okay, so go for at least 75% plus cocos in your dark chocolate and have like, normally you can have like 2 large squares, and that'll give you the fix that you need. So if you're like, oh, that reward where you're just craving chocolate, especially if you're hormonal, go for the dark chocolate because I guarantee you'll eat less of it than you would do the milk chocolate and you'll feel much better for it too. Okay, guys, so as it says at the bottom, consistency compounds. Life is for enjoying and living. And this is so true. And I've had people work with me who have still eaten fish and chips every Saturday night because that's their thing. That's what they love. They're still eating dark chocolate, still had cakes, lived life. I had another client graduate this morning, and I was saying to him with his weight loss, like he's still been able to live life, have the mince pies, go out for coffee with friends, go out for his birthday and have a burger and pizza. And for me, that's where these 3 tips are so key, because these will help you to have a life. So it's simply meal planning, eat what you enjoy, and swap out the snacks for high quality. So things like your crisps, think about how you can swap it out and get that crunchy texture instead through veg and fruit. Okay, team, sustainable results. We're coming on to it. Okay, I've just lost my chart bar. There we go. Back up. All right, guys, so what you need for sustainable results. So you need a plan. Ultimately, you need to know what you're doing weekly, monthly, and follow that plan. So it's what we just said about meal planning. So what does that look for you next week or the week after? Typically, I'll do 2 weeks meal planning in advance, because that allows me to repeat the meals, get a flow, get for what I like, don't like, and also take out the repetition. So it's easy for 2 weeks, and then once you maybe get to the point where you're not enjoying a dish as much, swap it out. Then, so you basically got your meal plan for 1 month already sorted. You think weekly meal plan, repeat it. So that's 2, repeat that over the month, and there's your month of meal planning already done. Okay, next up, process. So the multi-level process. So this is all about experimenting, reviewing, implementing, and solidifying. What? I hear you say. Okay, so this is about you being an individual. Okay, a lot of diets out there, a lot of foods are made for the masses. So they're not made for you as an individual. You are unique. Yes, there's all certain things that we all have, bones, fat, tissue, muscle, but you are very unique as an individual in terms of your mindset and how your body works and what your body feeds off well and what it doesn't like. And that's how we're seeing things come out now about like gluten-free diets, different symptoms that people may have through allergies to food, but also maybe through stress impacting what they can eat. So it's all about finding out what works for you with food. And sometimes we can get a bit scared of eating stuff if we've eaten things before and we've not been well off the back of it. That's quite common too. So people stop having variety of food because they don't want to be ill, and they start omitting a lot of things from their diet, and as a result their energy goes down, and they feel like they can't get up in the morning, they struggle. So it's about taking away the fear around food and trying food in small quantities to find out what works for you. And this is why I'm saying it's a process, because it's such an individual process when I work with people to find out what their current habits are, what's working for them, what's not, and we tweak things on a week-to-week basis to go, how's that working? Not just for their body, but is it fitting within their life? If it's too difficult and it's causing you aggro in your life, then guys, it's not working for you. This is how you get sustainable results, by finding things that enhance your life. And finally, support. So support every day of the week. So if you have a bad day, you need somebody to pick you up and tell you it's okay. Reset the next day. You need that constant support to give you the information, the guidance, the advice, the help, and for someone that you can be completely open with about how you're feeling and what's working for you and what's not. And whether it's not somebody like myself, like a coach, then as long as it's somebody that you've got that you can be completely open with how you're feeling about your nutrition, your body confidence, your hormone health, all the things that we've discussed tonight, and someone who's not going to pass their bias off onto you. And I say that because a lot of people may be skewed through diets they've tried in the past, and then you may be open to trying that yourself. And that's fine for experimenting, but actually if you want long-term results, it's about formulating your own plan, following that process, and having the support of people who are going to lift you up, not doubt what you're doing. So it's really about tuning into your body and what works for you. All right, team, have you got any questions? I'm just going to run over some information about my body confidence program, and then we'll finish up. I appreciate we're running slightly over, which I said would happen because I love talking about this stuff. So if you've got any questions, pop them in and I'll answer as we go. Okay, team, so my 90-day body group confidence program is all about you as an individual. And I want to break down what you get for this, because a lot of people don't understand what you get for nutrition coaching. So you get one-to-one private coaching with me. So I've popped on here what the value is around that. And that's based on the fact that you have one-to-one time dedicated with me every single week. You also get the body IQ assessment, and that is something unique that I have. I'm actually thinking of trademarking that. And that's looking at all areas of your life and how it affects your nutrition, what your goals are, what you're looking to achieve. I've then got my personalized body tracking system that I use. So it's not just about weighing yourself on the scales. It's a whole different set of metrics that we use to ensure that you know where you are, how your body's reacting to what you're eating, how you're feeling, and to get you towards those goals. You also get unlimited text access to me 24/7. And so all week long, my phone will be pinging off with people sending me stuff, and that's 24/7. Obviously, when I'm asleep, I don't respond, but out with that, I am basically available to you as an individual for whatever it is you need, whether it's checking on what's in a food, whether it's guidance, coaching, whatever you guys need, I'm here. Now it's group coaching this time. So I've got a private WhatsApp group community that I'm setting up. And the reason that I'm setting that up is because I often find that people are like, yeah, you know this stuff, you're just saying it. And I think the power of the group can be so useful. I've benefited from the power of a group myself this year through coaching. So I wanted to give that to you guys as well. So we're only going to have 6 places. So there's only 6 places available because I don't want to spread myself thinly. What I do is a very personalized service. And I've had a lot of people say to me, Julie, you'll not be able to maintain what you do when you get busier and busier and busier. And that's why I restrict it to 6 people. I restrict it to 6 people because it's all about you as an individual. And yes, we've got that group element of support, but in terms of personalized plan, coaching with me, it's all about you, your goals, your needs, where you're at. Okay, and with that as well, we have a discovery call to begin with. Now, discovery call is to check that we're the right fit for each other, and to make sure you're happy and you're comfortable that you'll be able to work with me and vice versa. So we just check that we're aligned before we go into anything. And then you've also got instant access to my online Diamond Lounge. So my online Diamond Lounge is something you can use on your phone, your PC, wherever you are. It's got a whole host of different recipes. It's got the female health guides, the one we touched the presentation tonight. You've also got pre-recorded workouts with me you can do, and it's got a whole host of library of ebooks, so things we mentioned about the sources of vegan food, how to get your macro micronutrients, loads. There's so much on there, honestly, it keeps expanding. So yeah, there's lots on there. And as you can see, I've totaled up the value of all those things, and total comes to 2,450. But what I'm going to do for you guys, offer price for January for kicking off the new year is 997. And that gives you 3 months. So it's a 90-day program of being in my body confidence program. And as you said, it covers everything there that I just went over, but it's very much about being that individual personalized service for you. And you can pay that in full or free payments. Now, team, if you want more information on that, then it'll be coming out in an email tomorrow, and you can DM me and pick up with me. But what I would say is just think about what your goals are, where you want to be, and how much it means to you to go into that festive period knowing that you're set up with something in January. Now, whether you want to be part of my body confidence program, and I'd be super excited if you join me, but whether or not you want to be body part confidence, I want you guys to update me on how you're doing on our free quick implementation. So I'm going to just take it back. So these ones here. Okay, so whether you want info on body confidence or not, I want to hear how you get on with these free quick tips. So I'm going to give you guys a week to come back to me and let me know how you've got on with each of these. I want to know what your successes are, what your challenges are. So 1 week, okay, to let me know. And as I said, body confidence program, 6 places, individualized, and you can go on my website and see testimonials I've had from clients who have graduated from the program successfully. And as I said, it's all about sustainable results. That's what I'm all about, giving you the tools, the systems, so you get the long-term results, not the quick wins. Okay, guys, and if you want to contact me, you can get me on email or my website. And thank you very much for joining this evening. If you've got questions, pop them in the box. If not, then by all means, have a good evening and go away and have your dinner if you've not all done also. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Julie.
Thank
you
you
so much.
Hey, Michelle.
Thank you so much, Julie.
Thank you, Michael.
I'm just preparing the dinner for tomorrow.
Good. So you're on it with your meal planning. What about the other 2? What about your snacks?
So now I'm preparing vegetable pad thai for tomorrow, and I had prawn and mainly vegetables. Because I tried the meat. I don't like it.
So what meat did you try?
Chicken.
And what was it you didn't like about it?
So I made a Thai chicken curry. It was nice, but I don't know. It's not my cup of tea.
Okay, well, let's tune into what makes you say it's not your cup of tea. Was it the way it was cooked? Was it the texture, or how you felt after it?
After it, I felt like it was too much or something. And I rather eat fish or seafood or eggs.
I was
But
going to say that because it's been quite a while since you've had like chicken, hasn't it?
yeah, but it's just difficult to find a good quality. I like goose and duck, but I don't know. I'm happy with the vegetables and fish. I'm okay with this, but
Yeah, I would say that if you're enjoying it, then don't force it. Don't force to change it. I would just tune into why you're thinking about changing it. Is it that you're a bit bored with the stuff you're eating? Is it that actually you were looking for a different protein source? In which case, I'll send you that guide anyway, Misha, so you can have a look at different things. But maybe just tune into what it is you're searching for within that.
I think it's the protein, because I feel like I need more protein.
Yeah, how's your energy levels been?
Very low. Very low, but I do a lot of exercise. I think it's just too much, and sometimes the carbs problem too, because I feel I eat too much carbs, but then after that I'm very hungry because I've done lots of exercise. I cycle 10 miles every day, and plus the exercise, plus the yoga. So it's just, I think it's really that, like you said, the deficit. So when you do workout and you're very active, you need more food.
Absolutely. And it's what I was saying about often a lot of people I work with aren't actually eating enough. So like I say about snacks, people can be like, oh, I don't want to snack, but actually you need to fuel, especially when you're active as you are. So I'll send you that guide on the protein stuff, but I want to challenge you around that plate, thinking about the plate being full, but not just being full, because I know you're quite good at that, Misha, but that kind of portion of the protein and the vegetables.
Okay, thank you so much. It was very, very helpful.
I
And
appreciate
you
that's a
look
lot
beautiful.
of information thrown at you.
You look beautiful.
Oh,
and
you,
always. Okay, see you guys. Thank you. Take care.
Okay, thank you, team. Good night. Go and have your dinner if you've not already had it. And remember to update me on your 3 quick tips and any more information. Give me a shout, or any questions once you reflect on all that information I just overloaded you with. Then by all means, drop me a note. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Julie. That was really good.
Thanks, Jen.
Speak to you later.
See you later. Bye.